So, good evening, students. Today we will discuss about, uh, you know, a concept given by John Rawls, justice as fairness. Uh, I have a recorded video. I have a recorded video. I will share with all of you, and in that, video, I have used a PPT having 94 slides, and within this slide and in my interpretation at the end of that recorded video, I think you will get the whole idea of John Rawls concept of justice, his uh, understanding of establishing a uh, just society. Right. So let me share the recording with all of you and enjoy the recording. Good afternoon, students. Today I will discuss with all of you the concept justice as fairness given by John Rawls. In the earlier class, I discussed the justice. Students, the sound of the recorded video, is it audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the context of justice and John Rawls, I have already given you a glimpse, uh, John Rawls' position on justice and what is the nature of his conceptualization of justice. Right. But in the last class, it was much more theoretical, and I understand that you have not understood uh, his concept, clearly. And today, while discussing on this particular concept, justice as fairness, I think you will get a better clarity, a better picture, uh, so that you can understand its concept. And if you go back to the, go back to the previous class, if you review my deliberation on deliberation of previous class, and if you read all these theoretical sentence, or if you hear all these theoretical sentence, you can, I think you can better understand what I was trying to say. So in nutshell, uh, today's deliberation, today's lecture, today's talk, it will help you to understand my previous talk on justice and genre. So I have prepared a PPT for all of you, and let me share the PPT and let me proceed on. Remember, today's PPT is about 93 to 94 pages. So you know uh, we go one PPT after another, and let's enjoy all the 94. Hope that you can see my PPT on your screen. And today we will discuss, justice as fairness. John Rawls, say political philosophers, American political philosophers, he believes that a just system of distribution should be based on the consideration of equal right and principles of fairness. and he argues that desert is not a relevant consideration in distributive justice. Remember, students, John Rawls is trying to define his idea of justice. A justice means it is creating a just society. Now, how to create a just society? And John Rawls is responding to this question. Now, he is saying, being he's a liberal, right? So he belongs to liberal egalitarian school of thought. So, being a liberal, he is understanding that a just society can be created by just distribution. But what should be the base consideration of just distribution? Now he is saying that the you know there are two consideration of you know just distribution. That is liberty consideration and equality consideration. So students, here you see this equal right is the liberty consideration. The right what I have, the same right also belongs to you. And this is the principles of fairness is actually the equality consideration. And John Rawls, he argues that desert means deserve, right? The deserve is not a relevant consideration of distributive justice. मान लो कि deserve is the base or deserve is the relevant consideration on in distributive justice. Now, what kind of society this consideration will establish? Desert means deserve. That means clearly, some are more, deserving than others. Now, if deserve will get their just share, that means it will create a society where only deserved people will alive, and those who are undeserved, they may not alive. And John Rawls consider it uh, not as a just society. This is an unjust society. So let me proceed to the PPT so that you can get a better clarity on his conceptualization. Now, in this lecture, we will deal the following contents: distributive justice, justice as fairness, desert, utilitarianism, original position, principles of justice, lexical priority, difference principle, redistribution, and criticism. So these are the main content of today's deliberation. Now, first is the distributive justice. Now, distributive justice is concerned with the distribution of benefits and burden of economic activity among individuals in society. Right. So, distributive justice का मतलब क्या है? Now, distributive justice deals with the distribution. Distribution of what? Distribution of benefits, distribution of responsibility, burden of economic activity. Right. If individuals are there, then economic activities are there. And in the economic activity, you will find there is a burden side of the economic activity, there is a benefit side of the economic activity. And distributive justice का काम क्या है? ना वो benefits और burden side of the economic activity को properly distribute करे. It refers to the proper allocation of wealth, power, material good, opportunities, etc. among the members of the society. तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का मतलब क्या है ना? इट प्रॉपर एलोकेशन ऑफ वेल्थ, प्रॉपर एलोकेशन ऑफ पावर, प्रॉपर एलोकेशन ऑफ मटेरियल गुड, प्रॉपर एलोकेशन ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी इनके अंदर द मेंबर्स ऑफ द सोसाइटी, इंडिविजुअल स्टेइंग इन दिस सोसाइटी. Now, in one system of distribution, people may be rewarded according to effort they make. Right? मैं जितना ज्यादा अपना मेहनत लगाता हूँ उतना ही मुझको प्राप्त होता है. So if I am rewarded according to my effort, then this is one kind of distribution. Now, in another kind of distribution, people may be rewarded according to the values of their contribution to society. मान लो कि मैं इतना इफोर्ट दिया और मुझे इतना प्राप्त हुआ, मैंने इफोर्ट देने के बाद इतना कंट्रीब्यूट किया, और सी मैं जितना इफोर्ट देता हूँ उतना कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं कर पाता हूँ, मैं ज्यादा इफोर्ट देता हूँ तो इफोर्ट के मुताबिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होगा तो मुझे ज्यादा मिलेगा। मान लो कि मैं ज्यादा इफोर्ट देता हूँ और कम कंट्रीब्यूट करता हूँ, तभी मैं जितना कंट्रीब्यूट करूंगा उसके आधार में मुझे उतना ही मेरा रिवार्ड्स मुझे मिलेगा। यानी कि कोई भी बंदा इफोर्ट ज्यादा दे के कंट्रीब्यूट कम भी कर सकता है, और कुछ बंदे इफोर्ट कम दे के कंट्रीब्यूट ज्यादा कर सकते हैं। तो इसका मतलब सीधा सीधा मतलब ये है, देयर इज ए इफोर्ट बेस्ड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, देयर इज ए कंट्रीब्यूशन बेस्ड distribution. Now distribution can also be based on the considerations such as need, right, merit, achievement. Now these are different bases of distribution. इफोर्ट के आधार पर मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ, कंट्रीब्यूशन के आधार पर मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ, नीड के आधार पर मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ, राइट्स के आधार पर मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ, मेरिट के आधार पर मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ, अचीवमेंट के आधार पर भी मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ। For example, distribution of social welfare payments is often based on the need. I mean, those who are the beneficiary of social justice, of affirmative action, of a positive discrimination. Why they are getting the benefits of welfare policy? Because they are the needy people. On the basis of need, they are getting such benefit. Right. Now distribution of old age allowances is often based on right. For example, suppose you are above the age of 60, you are booking your ticket in Indian Railway, right? Since you are at the age of 60, it is your right to get a lower berth, right? It is your right, right? Now, if you are getting such a facility, then the benefits what you are getting because of your age, it is based on your right. Above 60 means you have the right to have a lower berth. Then distribution of awards is often based on merit. Distribution of award, right? जितने सारे अवार्ड हमको मिलता है, अवार्ड किसको मिलता है? जिसके पास ज्यादा सक्षमता है, मेरिट है, जो ज्यादा अच्छा है, उसको अवार्ड मिलता है। तो इधर हमने देख ली है कि ये जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार नीड भी हो सकता है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार राइट भी हो सकता है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार मेरिट भी हो सकता है, और डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार अचीवमेंट भी हो सकता है। किस तरह? ना डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ बोनसेस, बोनस जब हमको बोनस मिलता है वो अचीवमेंट होता है, मैं ज्यादा अचीव किया इसलिए मुझे ज्यादा कुछ मिला। ठीक है, तो जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है उसका आधार कुछ भी हो सकता है, इफोर्ट्स हो सकता है, अचीवमेंट हो सकता है, नीड हो सकता है, राइट हो सकता है, मेरिट हो सकता है, अचीवमेंट हो सकता है। ठीक है, now when dealing with distributive problem, when dealing with distributive problems such as choosing a principle to allocate a sum of money, it is common for people to appeal to a number of different concerns, that the money should go to the person who deserve it as a reward, or to those who need it most, or that should be divided equally. मान लो कि मेरे पास कुछ कुछ रुपया है, मैं उसको यू नो I want to distribute these money, a sum of money, right? Now I may distribute on the basis of desert, the person who is the person who deserve my money, उसके आधार पर मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ. आई कैन ऑल्सो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट माई मनी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ नीड. नीडी कौन है, इसको ज्यादा जरूरत है, उसके आधार पर भी मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ. एंड आई कैन ऑल्सो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट इक्वली, right? So how many children do I have? 5 children. So I will equally distribute my money among my 5 children. उसके आधार पर भी मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूँ. Some principles of distributive justice is this: principles of desert, people should get what they deserve. Principles of equality, people should be treated equally. Principles of need, people should get what they need. Right? Now all these principles you can get, you can sense these principles only when I mean suppose a father is on the deathbed, he is trying to distribute his resources, wealth among his 5 sons. Now what should be the principles of distribution? The principles of distribution may be based on desert. पिता को लगे कि कौन सा पुत्र ज्यादा डिजर्व करता है, मैं उसको अपना प्रॉपर्टी दूंगा, उस हिसाब में प्रॉपर्टी दूंगा. पांच पुत्र में जो पहला पुत्र है वो थोड़ा ज्यादा डिजर्व करता है, मैं इसको थोड़ा ज्यादा शेयर दूंगा. ये भी एक आधार हो सकता है. और दूसरा आधार इक्वालिटी हो सकता है. नहीं, मेरा 5 संतान है, उस पांच संतान को मैं इक्वली, मेरा जितना रिसोर्सेस है मैं 5 में डिवाइड करूंगा और सबको अपना अपना शेयर थमा दूंगा. और प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ नीड होगा कि मेरा 5 जो संतान है, उस 5 संतान में कौन सबसे नीचे है, कौन सबसे इसका नीड थोड़ा ज्यादा है, जिसके पास कम संसाधन है, मैं उसको अपना प्रॉपर्टी का ज्यादा हिस्सा उनको उसको दूंगा. वो भी हो सकता है. सो दिस इज द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ डेजर्ट, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इक्वालिटी, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ नीड. Now, principles of desert say that people ought to get what they deserve. People should be rewarded in proportion to how hard they work, how much risk they bear in undertaking a given line of work, or how well they satisfy their customer. Now, I think this is important, students. You need to understand ये principles of desert क्या है. वो कहता है कि कौन ज्यादा डिजर्व करता है. ये डिजर्व को हम कैसे समझे, हमको कैसे मालूम पड़े कि ये बहुत ही ज्यादा डिजर्विंग कैंडिडेट है. ना जब पीपल कैंडिडेट इज रिवॉर्डेड इन प्रोपोर्शन टू हाउ हार्ड वर्क दे हाउ हार्ड दे वर्क. डिजर्व का मतलब सीधा सीधा मतलब है मुझे कितना कठिन परिश्रम करना पड़ा, मुझे कितना रिस्क लेना पड़ा एक काम को करने के लिए, और मैं उस काम को मैं किस तरह किया, एंड it produced a satisfaction in all, and that's why I deserve this because I have put my hard labor, I have taken the risk, and I have satisfied to all through my outcome, and that's why I deserve. This is important, student. You need to understand it. Then principles of equality says that people should be treated equally, providing equal opportunity, ensuring equal pay for equal work, and so on. Or that people should have equal shares of whatever is being distributed. Now this is the principles of equality. एक जो पिता वो इक्वालिटी प्रिंसिपल पे माने he can be guided by these principles of equality. अर्लियर में मैंने क्या कहा, ही कैन बी गाइडेड बाय द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ व्हाट, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ डेजर्ट. मान लो कि दूसरा पिता है, वो बोलेगा कि नहीं मैं डेजर्ट प्रिंसिपल में गाइडेड नहीं हूंगा, मैं इक्वालिटी प्रिंसिपल में गाइडेड हूंगा. वो क्या करेगा, एंड उनके दिमाग में क्या आएगा, नहीं मुझे इक्वालिटी मेंटेन करना है, इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी को मेंटेन करना है, मुझे इक्वल पे फॉर इक्वल वर्क. मेरा 5 संतान है तो मेरा 5 संतान मेरे लिए समान है, तो इसीलिए मैं अपना जो प्रॉपर्टी है सबको समान समान करके डिवाइड करूंगा और दे दूंगा, राइट, इक्वल शेयर, जिनका सबका इक्वल शेयर होगा, राइट। दिस इज प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इक्वालिटी। नाउ प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ नीड डिफाइंस ए क्लास ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, then say a society is just only if such needs are met, so far as meeting them is humanly possible, right? So I need not to explain it. Need based justice. So these three kinds of justice: need based justice, equality based justice, and desert based justice. Now traditionally distribution was viewed as just if it was based on desert. ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटी में जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार मेनली डेजर्ट था, दैट इज समवन हु वर्क्स डिजर्व्स मोर इनकम देन समवन हु चूजेस नॉट टू वर्क, समवन हु वर्क्स हार्डर डिजर्व्स ए हायर सैलरी, समवन हु सेव्स डिजर्व मोर वेल्थ देन समवन हु चूजेस नॉट टू सेव, राइट। यानी कि जो ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटी में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार डेजर्ट था, जो जितना डिजर्व करे उनको उतना ज्यादा मिलता था, ठीक है। कोई काम करना चाहता है तो वो धनवान बन जाता है, कोई काम करना नहीं चाहता है वो गरीब बन जाता है, राइट। कोई बहुत ही कठिन परिश्रम करता है, कोई कठिन परिश्रम नहीं करता है, कोई अपना जो सैलरी है वो सेव करता है, कोई सेव नहीं करता है, जो सेव करता है वो he or she deserves to be rich, जो सेव नहीं करता है he or she deserves to be poor। तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार डेजर्ट डिजर्व था। Now some modern philosophers and social thinkers however argue that the notion of distributive justice must also incorporate other considerations such as equality and fairness, right? Now ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटी में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार डेजर्ट था, और ये मॉडर्न सोसाइटी में जो मॉडर्न फिलोसोफर सोशल थिंकर आए उनको लगा नहीं, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव जस्टिस में और दो वैल्यूज को भी इंक्लूड करना चाहिए, वो इक्वालिटी वैल्यूज को भी इंक्लूड करना चाहिए या फेयरनेस वैल्यूज को भी इंक्लूड करना चाहिए। Now, according to John Rawls, a society is a cooperative venture between the free and equal person for the purpose of mutual advantage। तो जॉन रॉल को लगता है कि एक सोसाइटी में हमेशा कोऑपरेशन रहना चाहिए। कोऑपरेशन बिटवीन होम? कोऑपरेशन बिटवीन द फ्री एंड इक्वल पर्सन। इक्वल पर्सन in what sense? Are they really equal? Am I purely equal with you? No, I'm not purely equal. Here equal means, or equality means basic minimum needs of each and every individuals is satisfied in that society. In that society you will find just inequality. See, if you remember last class I told that John Rawls is against the unjust inequality, but John Rawls is not against the just equality. So just inequality, sorry, just inequality, unjust inequality गलत है, मगर just inequality सही है। एक सोसाइटी में जस्ट इनइक्वालिटी रहना चाहिए अकॉर्डिंग टू दी जॉन रॉल। एक गरीब और एक धनी व्यक्ति रहना चाहिए। गरीब के पास लेबर है, धनी के पास रिसोर्सेस है। लेबर इज needed for resources, resources is also a need for the labor, and this is the mutual advantage. Now justice in Rawls views refers to the proper distribution of benefits and burden of social cooperation. Now proper distribute हम कैसे करें? How to use the equality principle, the need principle along with desert principle. So एक just society क्या है ना, जिस सोसाइटी में ये तीन प्रिंसिपल काम करता है, डेजर्ट प्रिंसिपल भी काम करता है, इक्वालिटी प्रिंसिपल भी काम करता है, और नीड प्रिंसिपल भी काम करता है, वो एक जस्ट सोसाइटी है। और उस जस्ट सोसाइटी को हम कैसे अचीव करें? I mean, this is the central question John Rawls is asking. The individual member of society share common interest, but there is also conflict of interest among them. So in a society, there are some common interests and there is also some private interest. So far as common interests are concerned, you will find, individuals, they are positively, they are connected, they are group, right? But so far as, private interest is concerned, even there are also disagreement over the common interest, right? And whenever there is a disagreement over the common interest, it means there is a private interest related to that common interest. And that's why, conflict of interest, begin. Income, wealth, opportunities are scarce relative to people's need, want. So members of a society have conflicting interest over economic distribution. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट क्यों होता है? कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इसीलिए होता है कि हमारे पास जो संसाधन, इनकम, वेल्थ, अपॉर्चुनिटी, वो बहुत रेयर, बहुत ही क्वचित है, बहुत ही कम है। एंड लोगों का जो डिमांड, पीपुल्स नीड्स, वांट, वो बहुत ज्यादा है। इसीलिए देयर इज ए कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग इंटरेस्ट ओवर द इकोनॉमिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन। हमारे पास मान लो कि एक पोस्ट के लिए 1000 बंदे हैं। सो 1000 candidates are fighting for one post. So one post is our wealth, and 1000 candidates representing to that conflicting interest. Now, are there principles of justice to determine the right distribution on which all reasonable citizen would agree? हमारे पास क्या ऐसा कोई प्रिंसिपल है जिस प्रिंसिपल के आधार पर हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करें तो ऑल द रीजनेबल सिटीजन उसके साथ सहमत हो जाए? कैन सोसाइटी बी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड अराउंड ए फेयर प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ कोऑपरेशन इन ए वे दैट पीपल वुड एक्सेप्ट? हम एक ऐसा एक फेयर प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ कोऑपरेशन हम बनाएं, ऑर्गेनाइज किए, जिनमें लोग एग्री करें, एक्सेप्ट करें। हम एक कैसा डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव सिस्टम बनाएं जिस सिस्टम को जो समाज के जो विभिन्न वर्ग का लोग हैं वो उसको एक्सेप्ट करें, राइट? कैन हम क्या उसको बना सकते हैं? दिस इज द क्वेश्चन रॉल्स इज आस्किंग टू हिमसेल्फ। Now, justice as fairness is Rawls' theory of justice for a liberal society. The aim of a theory of justice is to propose principles to guide political and social institutions in such a way that each individual receive a fair share of social benefits and burden. So, Rawls का जो theory of justice है, जिसको उन्होंने 3 प्रिंसिपल के आधार पर बनाया, डेजर्ट प्रिंसिपल, नीड प्रिंसिपल एंड इक्वालिटी प्रिंसिपल, उसको बनाने के बाद उसने क्या कहा और क्या प्रपोज किया कि द एम ऑफ ए थ्योरी ऑफ जस्टिस इज टू प्रपोज द प्रिंसिपल्स to guide political and social institution in such a way that each individual receives a fair share of social benefits and burden. अच्छा, ये तीनों ही प्रिंसिपल के आधार पर रॉल्स ने अपना थ्योरी ऑफ जस्टिस बनाया और उसने कहा कि इस सिस्टम में हर कोई बंदा समाज का, each individuals of the society, they will receive a fair share of social benefits and burden. उसको हमको आज समझना है। The principles of justice are principles that regulates what Rawls calls the basic structure of the society. Right? If you remember the last class, you can you can recall. I have said the basic structure of the society, and that is the way in which major social institutions distribute rights and duties and determine the division of advantage from the social cooperation. Right? And what should be the basic structure of the society? The basic structure of the society is or should be the cooperation. Or if cooperation is there, then we can say that this is a society. Now, in a society, how to develop the social cooperation? What in what should be the principles of that society which will breed this value, social cooperation? In other words, Rawls' theory answers this question: how should a society's main institution be ordered? सोसाइटी में जितने सारी मेन इंस्टीट्यूशन है, उसको उसका माने उसमें ऑर्डर कैसे आए, हाउ शुड, आई मीन हाउ टू ब्रिंग ऑर्डर in the main institution of society. He uses the example of two persons sharing a piece of cake to demonstrate how individual can reach agreement on the principles of fair distribution. Suppose there is one piece of cake that two person want to eat. एक ही केक है, दो पर्सन उस केक को खाना चाहते हैं. They equally desire to eat the cake and each want the biggest piece possible. मान लो आई मीन एक एक पीस ऑफ केक है, उसको दो पर्सन खाना चाहते हैं. आ, वो शायद इक्वली वो केक को डिवाइड कर देंगे, राइट. करने के बाद वो देखेंगे कि कौन सी शेयर बड़ा है, मैं बड़ा शेयर लूंगा, राइट. इस तरह का चीज होता है इन दिन, आई मीन. So that's why what people do. I mean, if there are two brothers and the property of a father's, father is died, and properties are there, and two sons of that father or two brothers, they are dividing the property. What they do, I mean, the one will divide the property equally, the other one will choose, right. So if I have divided the property equally, 50%, 50%, then my younger brother or my elder brother will choose, right. So if I have divided with a intention to create a unequal, unequally, then the right to choose, by applying the right to choose, my younger brother or my elder brother will choose the biggest, I mean, वो लार्जर जो शेयर को वो मेरा भाई ले लेगा. दिस इज द यूजुअल प्रैक्टिस. सो दिस ऑल्सो जॉन रॉल उसको ही कहना चाहते हैं, राइट. तो हम उस केक को डिवाइड करेंगे और जो बड़ा पीस होगा हम उसको लेना चाहेंगे. Now to deal with this dilemma, both agree that one will cut the cake while other will choose one of these two pieces. I just gave the example right now that वो क्या करेंगे कि कोई भाग करेगा और दूसरा चूज करेगा. The consensus derived guarantees that cake will be shared fairly, equating justice with fairness. यही जस्टिस विथ फेयरनेस हो गया. यानी कि एक भाई डिवाइड करेगा और दूसरा भाई चूज करेगा. मैं जब डिवाइड करूंगा, आई हैव टू डिवाइड इन सच ए वे दैट इफ माय ब्रदर विल पिक his share, I will not be, or I will not get any kind of disadvantage. I will not feel that I have got less share, right. So students, let me take 2 minutes break, then I'm coming back. Welcome back. So with this slide, I think we covered the first part of the first point of the content, justice as fairness. And let's try to understand the second content, that is desert, right? Now, according to the principles of desert, people freely apply their abilities and talents in varying degree to socially productive work. As such, people come to deserve varying level of income by providing goods and services desired by others, right? So डेजर्ट का मतलब क्या है ना, डिजर्विंग। कौन डिजर्व करता है ना, जिसके पास ज्यादा एबिलिटी हो, जिसके पास ज्यादा एबिलिटी हो, ज्यादा टैलेंट हो, वो सोशली प्रोडक्टिव वर्क करता है और सोसाइटी को अपना गुड्स एंड सर्विस प्रोवाइड करता है, जो सोसाइटी डिमांड करता है उसको वो सेटिस्फाई करता है, और इसीलिए उसका जो इनकम थोड़ा ज्यादा होता है। एंड according to these principles of desert, I mean, he is having the right over what he has earned. So nobody should get any share from his earning, because it is his hard earned money. Go desert. Now distributive system are just in so far as they distribute incomes according to the different levels of earned or deserved by the individual in society for their productive labor, efforts and contribution, right? So ये भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम सही है, ठीक है। वो डेजर्ट के आधार में जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होता है वो सही है, राइट। नाउ फॉर Rawls, however, desert is not the relevant consideration in distributive justice. So common sensically what is understood कि डेजर्ट के आधार पर हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करेंगे तो सही है, जो ज्यादा डिजर्व करता है उसका मनी उसका है, वो ज्यादा देता है इसे ज्यादा पाता है, और जो जब वो देता है इंडिविजुअली, आई मीन ही इज लोनली इंडिविजुअल, ही इज कंट्रीब्यूटेड, जब उसको मिलता है कुछ, वो भी इफ आई एम getting the pleasure, then pleasure is mine. If I am getting pain, the pain is mine. If the pain is mine, so also pleasure is also mine, right? But Rawls कहते हैं कि desert is not a relevant consideration. In the first slide में मैंने कहा था, desert is not the relevant consideration in distributive justice. Merit in particular should not be used as the basis of distribution of income, because it is largely the result of luck, chance factor और natural lottery. So merit का मतलब क्या है? I mean, how you have got the merit? You have got the merit because of luck. You are born in a particular family, that's why you got that luck. You are meritorious because it is a natural gift to you. इसीलिए मेरिट को हम आधार नहीं बना सकते हैं। जो कम मेरिटियस होगा वो तो फिर सोसाइटी में जिंदा नहीं रह सकता है। एंड रॉल्स उसको कहते हैं जो चांस फैक्टर है, जो लक है, जो नेचुरल लॉटरी है, दीज आर द फैक्टर्स ओवर विच पीपल हैव लिटिल और नो कंट्रोल। ठीक है, तो जिसका ऊपर, जिस वैल्यूज का ऊपर लोगों का कंट्रोल नहीं है, उस वैल्यूज को हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का प्रिंसिपल कैसे माने? दिस इज द ऑब्जेक्शन जॉन रॉल इज मेकिंग। Now, according to Rawls, some people are luckier than others. They have talents, they have abilities that others don't have because of the natural lottery, that is chance factor related to their heredity, family, environment. एक फैमिली में वो जन्म ले लिए, एक अच्छा एनवायरमेंट में वो पले बढ़े, इसीलिए दे आर मोर डिजर्विंग देन द अदर। In Rawls' view, no one really deserves the benefit arising from his or her abilities, talents, families, etc. I'm repeating, in Rawls' view, no one really deserves the benefits arising, from his or her ability, talent, and family. Right? तो रॉल्स क्या कहते हैं, जो अपना एबिलिटीज नेचर से उसको मिला है, फैमिली से, नेचर मतलब द नेचर हैज played a role while giving birth to that particular individual in a particular family, in a particular environment. That's why that person is talented, right? इसीलिए जॉन रॉल कहते हैं नो वन डिजर्व्स द बेनिफिट, नो वन डिजर्व्स द बेनिफिट। मैं टैलेंटेड क्यों हूं? बिकॉज आई एम बोर्न इन ए पर्टिकुलर फैमिली, आई गॉट ए डिफरेंट एनवायरमेंट, so that's why I am more talented. Should I mean, is it right to claim that this is purely mine, the talent what I carry, this is purely mine? Now John Rawls is saying no, it is not purely yours. Hence the benefits what you generate because of your talent, that is also not yours. If the talent is not yours, then the benefits of your talent should not goes to you. Hence, desert should not be the principles of just distribution. Very, very good argument. Now, some people believe that natural talents deserve financial reward, but Rawls disagree. Rawls believe that mere luck should not determine the distribution of wealth, resources, and opportunities in the society. You are lucky that you are born in that particular family. That's why you are having that quality, deserving quality. Hence, रॉल इसको नहीं मानते हैं, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ डेजर्ट को नहीं मानते हैं कि डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन उसके आधार पर होना चाहिए. आई एम रिपीटेटिवली सेइंग इट फॉर योर बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. Is it unfair that Tiger Woods earn a much higher income than most people because of his natural talent in the golf? Now Tiger Woods is a golf player, right? And Tiger Woods earns higher income. उसका जो वो ज्यादा अर्न करता है than most of the people because of his talent in golf. गोल्फ एक प्लेयर टाइगर वुड है जिसके पास टैलेंट है, गोल्फ खेलने का टैलेंट है, इसीलिए वो ज्यादा रुपया कमाता है इन कंपैरिजन टू अदर्स. नाउ इज इट अनफेयर? Is it unfair? This is the question John Rawls is asking. Is it unfair that Tiger Woods, is it unfair that Sachin Tendulkar earns much higher income than the other cricketers because he has the natural talent in cricket? I gave an example of cricket. Here, example has been given on the game of golf. But is it unfair? Rawls argues that people don't deserve to reap the rewards of their talents. Rawls कहते हैं yes, it is unfair because the talents. Okay, give me a minute to understand it. Rawls argues that people do not deserve to reap the rewards of their talent. तो रॉल्स सीधा सीधा ये कहते हैं कि टाइगर वुड हो या सचिन तेंदुलकर हो, the environment what they got, that is responsible for their talent. If others would have got that environment, others would have become Tiger Woods and Sachin Tendulkar, but others did not get. That's why others could not achieve the desert, and that's why it is unfair to John Rawls if Tiger Woods and Sachin Tendulkar in their respective sphere earns more than the others. Tiger Woods earns millions of dollars because he is a good at golf, but he does not really deserve it. He was just lucky that by some combination of his heredity and environment, he ended up with superior skill. Now, this is important, student, to John Rawls is saying. John Rawls is saying he is a very good golf player. Why? Because of his the heredity and environment. genetics, and environment. And that's why he got the superior skill. He's a very good golf player because he is having superior skill. And why he is having superior skill? Because of heredity and environment. Hence, it is not solely his mind, his, it is not solely, his property. So his superior skill is not solely his property. Hence, whatever he earns by that superior skill should not belongs to him only. Right? Simple logic. Simple logic. Now, Rawls believes that individuals do not morally deserve the benefits that stems from inequalities of talent. So there are inequalities of talent, and these inequalities of talents are related with different form of inequalities in society. Right? तो टैलेंट के आधार पर इंडिविजुअल डिजर्व नहीं करता है बेनिफिट्स को अपने तरफ करने के लिए. So our talents and our character are products of nature and nurture. Nature and nurture. That is genes and environment for which we can claim no credit. It is fair that if I am talented, it is because of my gene and it is because of my environment. And hence, I should not get whole credit for my talent. You can feel John Rawls, right? He is John Rawls because of this understanding. Right? I mean, philosophers are like, they are very much truth oriented. It is very much harsh. To some people, John Rawls theory is not simple. It is very much, harsh uh, criticism on them. Right? For Rawls, no one deserved their ability, talent, or other fortunate circumstances. Thus, he feels justified in excluding any principles of desert from distributive justice. तो जॉन रॉल ने कन्विंस हो गया कि भाई ये जो डेजर्ट है ये तो एक फॉर्चुनेट सर्कमस्टांसेस का एक रिजल्ट है. तो इसीलिए ये जो डेजर्ट प्रिंसिपल है उसको मैं अपना डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव जस्टिस सिस्टम से निकाल दूंगा. डिजर्व के आधार पर मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं कर सकता हूं. ये जॉन रोल का कहना है. Now, Rawls' goal is to create a just society in which luck plays a minimum role. Luck means the desert. तो जॉन रॉल का जो उद्देश्य है वो क्या है? एक सोसाइटी, एक जस्ट सोसाइटी को प्रस्तुत करना जिस सोसाइटी में लक हैज मिनिमम चांस टू प्ले. लक के आधार पर हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ बेनिफिट्स, इनकम, रिसोर्स नहीं कर सकते हैं. His primary concern is to establish a system of distributive justice that will bring the greatest benefits to the least advantaged member of the society. Right. This is important, students. You need to understand. John Rawls is supporting two reservation, two affirmative action in this sense. So what he is saying कि मुझे एक ऐसा डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव सोसाइटी और डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव जस्टिस व प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव जस्टिस को बनाना है जिस सिस्टम में जो लीस्ट एडवांटेज मेंबर ऑफ द सोसाइटी है, लीस्ट एडवांटेज मेंबर ऑफ द सोसाइटी. सो क्रीमी दे डू नॉट बिलोंग टू दिस लीस्ट एडवांटेज मेंबर ऑफ द सोसाइटी. राइट? ग्रेटेस्ट बेनिफिट्स should go to the least advantaged member of the society because they are not, they are not equal with other members of the society. They are least advantaged. Now उनको लाइन में लाने के लिए ग्रेटेस्ट बेनिफिट्स उनको देना चाहिए. किनको रिजर्वेशन, किनको अफर्मेटिव एक्शन, किनको पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का बेनिफिट्स मिलना चाहिए ना? जो लीस्ट एडवांटेज्ड मेंबर ऑफ द सोसाइटी है. And who are these least advantaged member of the society? This is the question today, our academia is concentrating. So that's why, Yogendra Jadhav said we have to identify different forms of marginalization. We have to locate who are the advantaged section of least advantaged ग्रुप ऑफ द सोसाइटी, एस सी एस टी जो भी रिजर्व कैटेगरी है, उस कैटेगरी में एडवांटेज मेंबर्स कौन से हैं, उनको ग्रेटेस्ट बेनिफिट्स नहीं मिलना चाहिए. सो हियर जॉन रॉल इज नॉट स्टैंडिंग विथ एनी, with any disadvantaged caste, disadvantaged class. Rather, the John Rawls is standing with the broken man, broken individual. Who is that broken man? How to locate that, broken man or broken individual? For Rawls, inequality, resulting from luck or good fortune is unjust unless it benefits those less fortunate, particularly the least advantaged member of the society. कि हम लक या डेजर्ट को डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का आधार माने तो क्या होगा ना, जो लीस्ट एडवांटेज्ड मेंबर ऑफ द सोसाइटी है उनको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. They will feel that they are less fortunate. He goes on to argue that one of the tasks of the government is to remedy the unfairness of natural lottery. ठीक है, ये नेचर ने जिस तरह का अनइक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया है टैलेंट्स को, उसी अनफेयर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का अगेंस्ट में जॉन रॉल अपना जो क्या है डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिव जस्टिस देते हैं. वो कहते हैं गवर्नमेंट का एक ही काम है, जो नेचुरली जो अनफेयरनेस है उस नेचुरल अनफेयरनेस को गवर्नमेंट को, इट्स द टास्क ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट टू डील विथ दिस अनफेयरनेस ऑफ द नेचुरल और अनफेयरनेस ऑफ द नेचर. Now Rawls rejected utilitarianism. Utilitarians, in his view, are concerned only with maximizing overall benefits. They ignore the problems of inequalities and pay little attention to the plight of the least advantaged member of the society. Utilitarians क्या कहते हैं ना, जो what is right and what is wrong to utilitarian? If what the majority say, that is right, what the minority said, that is wrong. And what is the character of the majority? If they are belonging to well-to-do family, they are, those who have resources, those who have power, those who have knowledge, they are right, and those who are not having all these resources, power, knowledge, they are wrong. Now, this is the problem with utilitarian according to the Rawls. So utilitarians कहते हैं जिनके पास संसाधन है वो सही है, जिनके पास संसाधन नहीं है वो गलत है. And this cannot be the foundation of a just society, and hence John Rawls rejects the utilitarianism. Maximum happiness of maximum number. Maximum happiness of maximum number. Now what about minimum numbers? What about the minorities? What about the liberty of the minorities? If you are making policy on the basis of the majority consideration, this is the problem with utilitarianism. Rawls' central complaint, however, is that utilitarians allows some people's interest to be sacrificed if it would give rise to the greater benefits of the others. So what is the main complaint of John Rawls against utilitarianism? The main complaint is that some people's interest, that is minorities' interest, are sacrificed because of in the name of greater benefits of the others. Right. So minorities' interests are sacrificed because of the majority interest. Utilitarians propose that we ought to maximize the total sum of the net benefits rather than attend to the interest of each considered separately. तो यूटिलिटेरियन क्या कहते हैं, जो मेजोरिटी कहते हैं वही सोसाइटी का पॉलिसी होना चाहिए. तो मेजोरिटी में जो नहीं आते हैं, दे फील they are away, they feel that they are alienated uh, from that process of making a societal policy, right? ना जॉन रॉल कहते हैं ये गलत है। सोसाइटी में जब एक पॉलिसी बनता है, उस जो प्रोसेस ऑफ पॉलिसी मेकिंग, उस प्रोसेस में सबका योगदान रहना चाहिए। इट इज देयर राइट टू बी पार्ट इन दैट प्रोसेस। Why you are taking only the majority people? They why majority are part of that decision making process? Why not the minority? Right. So each individual has the right to be part in that decision making process. Again, very fair. John Rawls is saying the right thing. That decision should not be taken on the majority basis. Decision must be taken on the basis of unanimity. Unanimity. Right. So being a faculty of this university, I have experienced, these two situations. In some situation, decisions are taken, whenever there is any departmental, meeting, I have found that some of the decisions are taken on the basis of, majority. And in some of the situations, decisions are taken on the basis of unanimity. Right. But there is also the politics. John Rawls is against that politics. John Rawls is saying that in all the time, decision must be taken on the basis of unanimity, not on majority. Right. There would be, or there would appear to be, ways of maximizing social utility overall. Okay. Uh, I think we have entered. I think we have entered the different, concept. I think we have entered desert here. Then we have entered utilitarianism, right? And here, I started Rawls rejected utilitarianism. Then Rawls center. What was the Rawls, central, complaint against the utilitarianism, right? So we are continuing utilitarianism. So there would appear to be ways of maximizing social utility overall that do an injustice to a particular individual. So utilitarian theory of justice, it also does injustice to the minority, I mean individuals who belongs to the minority community. Think of the Roman practice of throwing people to the lion for the enjoyment of those in the Colosseum. Right. Is a Western experience. I will not go by that. I think uh, you take India or politics of India as an example to understand the utilitarian theory of justice. I think you can better students being a Indian students. And there is no need to, we don't know the experience of Europe, but we know the experience of India. So in the background of your mind, you think about your own experience of Indian politics and try to understand what is the utilitarian theory of justice and what role is trying to, say on utilitarian theory of justice. Now, while utilitarianism may try to justify, infringement upon the rights of the some individual, if these infringement produce greater happiness for the large number of, other individual, the theory of justice as fairness denies that infringement upon the basic rights of the individual can ever be, morally justified. I think here, let me go back to the slide. Okay, this is a Roman practice. In that Roman practice, people are thrown to the lion, right? And lion is killing that person, and there is a collusion, there is a group of people, and this group of people do enjoy how the lion is actually attacking, killing, and eating that person who is alive. So how a person, alive person, with the attack of the lion, how that alive person is dying, and how his bones, flesh are being eaten by the lion. Now, this is a Roman practice. This practice is giving happiness to the large number of audience. Now, according to utilitarian theory of justice, then it is okay, because even if there is infringement of certain rights of that individual who was put before the lion, but it has produced the greater happiness for the larger number of other individuals. So others are enjoying. So greatest happiness of greatest in number is there. Then according to the utilitarian theory of justice, it is good. But justice, the theory of justice as fairness, the theory of John Rawls, he denies that. He's saying that in a just society, happiness of the large number of individual it does not matter, and what matters, the non infringement of basic rights of the individual. ज्यादा लोग खुश हो जाएं इसीलिए सब सही चल रहा है, वो गलत है। किसी एक का राइट्स नहीं जाना चाहिए, इसीलिए हमारा लॉ में है हजार जो दोषी हैं वो चल मुक्त हो जाएं वो चलेगा, मगर एक जो निर्दोष है उसको दंड मिलना नहीं चाहिए। A innocent person should not get any punishment. The rights of a innocent person should not be, violated. A just society इसको डिमांड करता है। एक जस्ट सोसाइटी के लिए सबका खुश होना जरूरी नहीं है, मगर एक इंसान का अपना जो बेसिक राइट्स है वो वायोलेट ना होना वो महत्वपूर्ण है। As Rawls remarks, utilitarianism could theoretically, justify slavery, but no rational and self-interested person could accept that form of inequality if he himself might be among the slaves. Now, according to the utilitarian theory of justice, then slavery is okay. But according to the John Rawls theory of justice, slavery is not okay. You just put yourself in the position of a slave and you think that whether slavery is good or bad. Be the last person and think about the distribution. If you are the first person and thinking about the distribution, then you will be guided by your selfishness. But if you are the last person and you are thinking about the justice, even if you are thinking about your own vested interest, it means before benefits reach to you, the benefits is also reaching to persons who are in front of you, right? So being a last person, think about justice, not being a first person. Justice can be thought only when you put yourself as a last person, only when you put yourself in the slave position. Then only you are in a right position to think about, justice. What Rawls calls, veil of ignorance. Original position, it will come subsequently. Original position came here. Original position came here. Right. So Rawls defines, this is the end of this content, utilitarianism. That means if you are in the place of a slave, then you can understand the slavery. Right? You will not justify the slavery system. So that's why to think about justice, you need to put yourself in the least advantage section of the society. Right? So students, let me take again 2 minutes break and coming back. Welcome back. So let's enter to the next content, that is, original position. Now, one of the main reasons why people join together to form a society is that they want to increase the amount of primary goods available for them. तो लोग सोसाइटी में क्यों ज्वाइन करते हैं ना? लोग सोसाइटी में इसलिए ज्वाइन करते हैं ताकि लोग, जब प्राइमरी गुड्स का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होता है, लोग अपना जो शेयर ऑफ प्राइमरी गुड्स है वो एक ज्यादा शेयर उनको कैसे मिले, राइट? So one of the main reasons why people join together to form a society is that they want to increase the amount of primary goods available for them. So primary goods society में जितने सारे हैं, उस सोसाइटी में जितने सारी प्राइमरी गुड्स हैं, उस प्राइमरी गुड का ज्यादा हिस्सा उनको कैसे मिले, इसीलिए लोग एक सोसाइटी में ज्वाइन करते हैं, राइट? सोसाइटल डिसीजन मेकिंग में पार्ट होते हैं. Now, Rawls defines primary good as things that every rational man is presumed to want. जितने सारी रेशनल इंडिविजुअल्स है सोसाइटी में, वो सब प्राइमरी गुड्स को चाहते हैं. Now, these include rights and liberties, powers, opportunities, income, wealth, self-respect. Now, वो भी प्राइमरी गुड है. प्राइमरी गुड क्या है ना? प्राइमरी गुड राइट्स है, प्राइमरी गुड लिबर्टीज है, पावर है, अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, इनकम है, वेल्थ है, सेल्फ रेस्पेक्ट है. वही आर प्राइमरी गुड. And individuals join the society in order to get these goods. Now, Rawls argues that in a just society, the authority of political institutions should be based on a hypothetical social contract made between the free and equal individual. Right? तो Rawls argue करते हैं कि लोग तो हमेशा चाहेंगे कि उनको ज्यादा प्राइमरी गुड मिले, मगर किसी को ज्यादा प्राइमरी गुड मिलता है तो फिर वो एक अनजस्ट सोसाइटी बन जाता है. इसीलिए जस्ट सोसाइटी को बनना, रॉल्स इज इंटरेस्टेड टू क्रिएट ए जस्ट सोसाइटी. तो जो सोसाइटी को हम किस तरह बनाएं, द अथॉरिटी ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन. एक जस्ट सोसाइटी में द अथॉरिटी ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन द हाइपोथेटिकल सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, राइट? एक जस्ट सोसाइटी को कैसे बनाएं, एक जस्ट रूलर का हम कैसे बनाएं, किस तरह हम स्टार्ट करें. जब लोग सेल्फिश होंगे तभी तो रूलर भी सेल्फिश हो जाएगा. जब तक लोग सेल्फिश है तब तक वो लोग जब अपना रूलर को एस्टेब्लिश करेंगे वो रूलर भी सेल्फिश होगा. इसीलिए पहले लोगों को अपना सेल्फिशनेस से मुक्त होना चाहिए. दे मस्ट बी फ्री फ्रॉम देयर सेल्फिशनेस. Then only they can establish the right authority of their political institution, and that right authority of their political institution will create or bring policies that will create a just society. Now, the central problem with John Rawls, central problem with John Rawls is this: how to make individuals free from the from their selfishness. So that's why he is saying that people must be taken to their original position. And you need to understand what is the original position. And he is saying that a hypothetical social contract. Hypothetical social contract. Hypothetical means something which does not exist. It exists in imagination. Now you have to imagine a situation ऑफ सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन द फ्री एंड इक्वल इंडिविजुअल. लोगों को ये मालूम नहीं वो मेल है या फीमेल है, रिच है या पुअर है, इस कास्ट से है या उस कास्ट से है, इस रीजन से या उस रीजन से है. दिस इज द हाइपोथेटिकल सिचुएशन. दे डू नॉट नो हु आर दे. ही ऑल्सो बिलीव दैट ए सिस्टम ऑफ फेयर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन शुड बी द रिजल्ट ऑफ सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. नाउ जब लोगों को ये मालूम नहीं in which category they are belong, and वो लोग आपस में एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं, उसको जॉन रॉल कहते हैं हाइपोथेटिकल सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. ये लोगों का मानसिकता के अंदर चलता है. ये एक्चुअल सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं है. इट्स अ हाइपोथेटिकल. पीपल आर गोइंग बैक टू देयर ओरिजिनल पोजीशन where they do not know who are they, and they are making a contract. And this is the original, position given by John Rawls. Now, in coming together to form a society, people must agree on the principles that govern the social and political institution. जो लोग कुछ नहीं जानते हैं अपने अपने बारे में, तो लोग वो एग्री करेंगे ऑन प्रिंसिपल, लोग एग्री करेंगे कि ये जो सोशल पॉलिटिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन को गवर्न करने के लिए कुछ प्रिंसिपल होना जरूरी है। इस पॉइंट पर लोग सब एग्री करेंगे। द सोशल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज ए थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट दैट इन्वॉल्व्स ए ग्रुप ऑफ इमेजिन्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्टर। ग्रुप ऑफ इमेजिन्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्टर मीन्स मैं भी वो इमेजिन्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्टर में आ जाऊंगा जब मैं अपना जो मानसिकता है वो ओरिजिनल पोजीशन को ले लूं, जब मैं पहले चला जाऊंगा, जब लोगों को कुछ मालूम नहीं था। मैं मीन्स नॉट मी, my father, the father of my father, his father of his father. You go to the last, where the concept of property was also not there, caste was not there, gender discrimination was not there, male female was even, लोग कपड़ा भी नहीं पहनते थे। पूरा ओरिजिनल पोजीशन को आप चले जाए। नाउ वो लोग क्या करते हैं ना, दे आर ट्राइंग टू रीच एग्रीमेंट्स ऑन द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ जस्टिस। वो सोचते हैं कि एक समाज को चलाने के लिए एक सोशल पॉलिटिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन को कैसा होना चाहिए। नाउ पीपल इन द ओरिजिनल पोजीशन दे आर थिंकिंग दैट। Now Rawls postulates that the imagined contractor are rational and self-interested. They are interested in securing the maximum amount of primary good for themselves. ना वो मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ प्राइमरी गुड्स को वो कैसे, सबको सबको चाहिए मैक्सिमम प्राइमरी गुड। जो एग्जांपल मैंने दिया, दो भाई के बीच जो जितने सारी रिसोर्स है वो दो भाई आपस में डिवाइड करते हैं। एक डिवाइड करता है, दूसरा चूज करता है। इसलिए जो डिवाइड करता है वो दिमाग में है कि दूसरा बंदा चूज करता है। इसलिए ओरिजिनल पोजीशन में जितने सारे बंदे हैं उनका एक ही इंटरेस्ट है कि हाउ टू गेट द मैक्सिमम प्राइमरी गुड्स, राइट। बट एट द सेम टाइम द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स आर म्यूचुअली डिसइंटरेस्टेड, दैट इज they are interested purely in their own fortune, not that of others. कॉन्ट्रैक्टर सबको चाहिए कि मुझे जो प्राइमरी गुड्स का ज्यादा हिस्सा चाहिए, but at the same time they are also contractors are mutually disinterested, that is they are interested purely in their own fortune, not of the others. वो कहते हैं कि मेरा भाग्य में, फॉर्च्यून मीन्स भाग्य, मेरा भाग्य में जितना है मैं उतना अचीव करूंगा। आई विल नॉट गेट द मैक्सिमम अमाउंट ऑफ प्राइमरी गुड्स एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ अदर्स, राइट। सो मैं जब प्राइमरी गुड का मैक्सिमम अमाउंट को मैं सिक्योर करूंगा, तभी वो जो दूसरा बंदा है उसका इंटरेस्ट को वायोलेट नहीं करना चाहिए। दिस इज द थिंकिंग ऑफ इंडिविजुअल इन देयर ओरिजिनल पोजीशन। सो दे आर नॉट एनवियस ऑफ अदर्स, they will not be made happy or unhappy by either the good or bad fortune of other person, right? I'm repeating, they are not envious. What does it mean by envious? Let me check it. Strongly wanting someone else position, advantage and position. So they are not envious. They are not envious of others. They will not be made happy or unhappy by either the good or bad fortune of other persons. Right? Give me, 2 minutes to understand this point. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, I got it. I have said something wrong actually. Let me correct it. Right. Now, at the same time, the contractors are mutually disinterested, right? So all these contractors, people in the original position, they want to maximize, they want to get the maximum amount of primary goods. So that's why there is a competition, and they are interested purely in their own fortune, right? So all these contractors, people in their original position, they want the highest share of the primary highest share of the what primary goods. And that's why they're all selfish. Actually, they're all selfish. They are interested purely in their own fortune, not of others. They are thinking about themselves, right? Even they will not be made happy or unhappy by either the goods or bad fortune of the other. They are they are very much self-seeking. They are not thinking about whether you know you are happy or unhappy, whether you are having a good fortune or bad fortune. They are just thinking about their own fortune. They just want to get the maximum share of primary good. Now, Rawls talks that people's view of justice are often biased in part by their own particular interest. ना जब रॉल्स ये कहते हैं जब तक इंसान अपना पर्टिकुलर इंटरेस्ट के द्वारा गाइडेड होता है तब तक आई मीन if individuals are guided by their own particular interest, then uh, the justice of that society you know becomes biased. For example, some rich people may be strongly opposed to taxation, while some poor people will want the rich to be taxed more than they are just present. जो रिच क्लास है वो कहता है कि मैं टैक्स नहीं दूंगा, जो पुअर क्लास है वो बोलेगा कि नहीं तुमको टैक्स देना चाहिए. And both are saying from their own advantage point of view, in order to, I mean, why a poor is saying in order to increase the welfare benefits. Tax होगा तो welfare benefits मिलेगा. Now, this cannot be the base of a just society. आप एग्जाम्पल को थोड़ा देख लीजिए. आई थिंक इट्स क्लियरली एक्सपोजिंग. रिच टैक्स नहीं देगा, पुअर बोलेगा कि नहीं तुम टैक्स दो ताकि मुझे सोशल बेनिफिट्स मिलेगा. Now, rich is thinking from his own perspective, poor is thinking from his own perspective. Now, these rich and poor, they are guided by their own selfish or particular interest, and this cannot be the base of justice. Now, this kind of or society which is guided by these kind of values, in that society justice becomes biased. Now, Rawls' idea is that while justice requires impartiality, impartiality can be modeled by assuming ignorance. Right, right, right. So, Rawls क्या कहते हैं कि जस्टिस का मतलब है impartiality. Right. Impartiality कब आएगा ना, जब we will become ignorant of our own position. The rich will not have any consciousness of rich. The poor will not have any consciousness of poor. Then only, they can come to a common point. So as long as rich is rich, poor is poor, they cannot, they will hold their own position. They cannot, maintain a impartial character in their thinking, in their action. तो इसीलिए rich और poor को they must be ignorant of their richness and of their poverty. Now this opens the way for a hypothetical social contract. जब वो ignorant होंगे तभी वो hypothetical social contract शुरू होगा, right? शुरू होगा. Now Rawls imagines people considering together what the basic principle they should agree upon for ordering the social institution. ना जब लोग ignorant हो जाएंगे तब वो मतलब they will think कि what should be the basic principle to order the social institution. He asks us to think of these persons as being in an original position, deprived of attributes. He means John Rawls asks people to think these person, these contractor, as being in an original position deprived of attributes that would introduce biasness to their thought. Right. So they are away from their attributes. They do not know whether they are male or female. They do not know whether they are rich and poor. They do not know whether he is a Brahmana or Vaishya or Brahmana or Shudra. He calls this is a veil of ignorance. Only if they are at the veil of ignorance, then this hypothetical what then this hypothetical social contract is possible. So hypothetical social contract is possible only when people are at veil of ignorance. So original position, a purely hypothetical situation in which one is placed behind a veil of ignorance and is asked to formulate the basic principles of justice. ना लोगों के पास लोग उनको पता नहीं उनका एट्रीब्यूट्स क्या है. They are away from their what attributes, and now they are asked if what should be the basic principles of justice. Veil of ignorance क्या है ना. Contractors are ignorant of many features of any feature. Sorry, contractors are ignorant of any features which distinguishes them from their fellow contractors. Men do not know they are men. Women do not know they are women. So the woman consciousness will not be with women. Men's consciousness will not with be man. Rich consciousness किसी का कुछ attribute नहीं है. They are unaware of their place, class, position, social status in the society. This is veil of ignorance. Now, is it possible? Now, John Rawls is saying it is possible, right? If you will not maintain the veil of ignorance, then you cannot understand the impartiality. आप एट्रीब्यूट्स के साथ रहेंगे तो अब आप इम्पार्शियल नहीं हो सकते हैं. इसका मतलब वही है. Till you are with your attributes, you cannot maintain impartiality. To maintain impartiality, you have to reach to that level, veil of ignorance. उस लेवल में पहुंचना ये बहुत ही कठिन काम है. It's not easy. Now, if reaching to veil of ignorance is possible, then it is possible to become, impartial, right? Now, Rawls argues that ignorance of these details about oneself will lead to the selection of the principles that are fair to all. जो लोग उनको पता नहीं वो कौन है, तो इसीलिए वो जब एक प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ जस्टिस को डिसाइड करेंगे वो सबके लिए करेंगे. If an individual does not know his or her social position relative to other, he or she is likely to prefer the scheme of justice that treats everyone fairly. जो लोगों को पता नहीं who am I, so that I will support that principle or that policy where everyone will get the benefits, also I will also get the benefits, right? Thus, the veil of ignorance precludes the tendency to favor principles that serve particular interest by excluding knowledge of particular interest. जब तुमको पता नहीं who are you, what is your particular interest, so you cannot serve your particular interest by supporting this policy, this principle, or that policy, or that principle. It focuses contractors to look at society not from their own social position but objectively and impartially. जब उनका सोशल पोजीशन ही नहीं है तभी लोग क्या करेंगे, कौन सी पर्सपेक्टिव में वो प्रिंसिपल पॉलिसी एक जो सोसाइटी को देखेंगे वो ऑब्जेक्टिवली देखेंगे इन इम्पार्शियली देखेंगे. So to maintain the objectivity and impartiality, ऑब्जेक्टिव और इम्पार्शियल होने के लिए लोगों को ओरिजिनल पोजीशन यानी कि वेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस लेवल को जाना चाहिए. तभी लोग सोसाइटी को अपने एंगल से नहीं सबका एंगल से उसको देखेंगे, एग्जामिन करेंगे. अपना मीन्स attributes. I'm referring apna means attributes here. Now, as Rawls himself put it, the the purpose of veil of ignorance is to ensure that no one is advantaged or disadvantaged in the choice of the principle by the outcome of the natural chance or the contingency of social circumstances. सबको एडवांटेज मिलेगा, सबको, राइट. I'm repeating, as Rawls himself put it, the purpose of veil of ignorance is to ensure that no one is advantaged or disadvantaged in the choice of the or choice of principles by the outcome of natural chances or contingency of social circumstances. लोगों को पता नहीं उसका एट्रीब्यूट्स क्या है, इसीलिए लोग एक ऐसा प्रिंसिपल बनाएंगे जिस प्रिंसिपल में कोई भी डिसएडवांटेज और किसी को भी डिसएडवांटेज ना मिले, सबको एडवांटेज मिले. लोगों को पता नहीं कि इस भेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस के बाद जब वो अपना एट्रीब्यूट्स को याद करेंगे, उनको वो कॉन्शियसनेस मिल जाएगा. क्या लोग, एक मान लो कि एक रिच इंसान है, उसको मैं ऐसा कुछ कर दिया कि वो भूल गया वो रिच है, वो भेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस में चला गया, और फिर वो एक पॉलिसी या एक प्रिंसिपल, उसको हमने कहा कि तुम एक प्रिंसिपल बनाओ, एक जस्ट सोसाइटी प्रस्तुत करने के लिए एक प्रिंसिपल बनाओ. उसको पता है कि ये जो भेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस कॉन्शियसनेस अभी मेरा अंदर है, वो जाने के बाद मैं रिच हूं या पुअर हूं मुझे पता नहीं. तो इसीलिए आई विल नॉट सपोर्ट दैट प्रिंसिपल व्हिच सपोर्ट्स रिच. इवन आई विल नॉट सपोर्ट टू दैट प्रिंसिपल व्हिच सपोर्ट्स पुअर. मान लो कि एक रिच, मान लो कि जो भेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस है उसको पता नहीं वो रिच है या पुअर है. उसको जब फिर कॉन्शियसनेस प्राप्त हो जाएगा, फिर उसको पता चलेगा कि मैं रिच या पुअर हूं. इसीलिए वो रिच एडवांटेज को देख के पॉलिसी नहीं बनाएगा, वो पुअर एडवांटेज को देख के पॉलिसी भी नहीं बनाएगा. वो मध्यम मार्ग में जाएगा जिसमें पुअर का भी डिसएडवांटेज ना हो, रिच का भी ज्यादा एडवांटेज ना हो. This is the fair starting point of creating a just society. Since all are similarly situated and no one is able to design the principle into favor his particular condition, उनको पता नहीं ना. The principles of justice are the result of fair agreement or bargain. वो एक ऐसा पॉलिसी बनाएंगे जिसमें both rich and poor can coexist. पता नहीं, वो पुअर के सपोर्ट में बनाएंगे और बाद में वो कॉन्शियसनेस आने के बाद उनको लगेगा कि मैं रिच हो गया हूं. फिर उनको बुरा लगेगा कि जब मेरा अंदर रिच कॉन्शियसनेस को किसी ने छीन लिया और मैंने पुअर सपोर्ट में बना दिया, तो इसका मतलब मैं अपना ही पैर में कुल्हाड़ी मार दिया. तो इसीलिए जो ओरिजिनल पोजीशन भेल ऑफ इग्नोरेंस में लोग रिच को भी सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, पुअर को भी सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, मेल को भी सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, फीमेल को भी सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, इस कास्ट को सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, उस कास्ट को भी सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे. बिल्कुल फेयरनेस वो मेंटेन करेंगे. Now Rawls maintains that since every contractor is aware of the possibility that he or she might be among the least advantaged, right? जितने सारे लोग हैं उनको लगता है कि नहीं, हम भी तो गरीब भी हो सकते हैं. जब हमारा कॉन्शियसनेस आएगा, मान लो कि मैं गरीब हूं, इसलिए आई विल नॉट मेक any policy or I will not support any principle which is against the least advantage. Right. So Rawls maintains that since every contractor is aware of the possibility that he or she might be among the least advantaged, he or she will choose principles that aim at the greatest possible benefits to everyone and especially to the least advantage. जो धनी है उसको आवश्यकता नहीं है, मगर जो गरीब है उनको आवश्यकता है. इसीलिए जो पॉलिसीज है, जो प्रिंसिपल्स है, उसको हम लीस्ट एडवांटेज को देख के बनाएं. मान लो कि कॉन्शियसनेस आने के बाद मुझे पता चलेगा कि मैं लीस्ट एडवांटेज हूं, तो इसीलिए लीस्ट एडवांटेज के सपक्ष, लीस्ट एडवांटेज के फेवर में जब पॉलिसी या प्रिंसिपल्स बना जाता है, तभी इट कंट्रीब्यूट्स टू द just society. Right. एक रिच इंसान को नहीं चाहिए, उसको आवश्यकता नहीं है, मगर लीस्ट एडवांटेज को उसको आवश्यकता है, वो भी सोसाइटी का हिस्सा है। Now, according to Rawls, the two principles of justice which would be agreed to by rational and mutually disinterested individual in the original positions are: each person is to have equal right to the most extensive total system of basic equal liberties compatible with similar system of liberty to all, that is principles of equal liberty. So there are two principles of justice. One is the principles of equal liberty. The liberty what I carry, the same liberty are also, liberties are also belonging to you. And the second is the social and economic inequality are to be arranged so that they are both to the greatest benefit of the least advantage. That is called difference principle. So पहला क्या है? पहला है प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इक्वल लिबर्टी। सबको लिबर्टी मिलना चाहिए, और जो लिबर्टी मेरे मुझ में है वो लिबर्टी तुम में भी होना चाहिए। सबका, सबके पास वो लिबर्टी होना चाहिए, वो प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इक्वल लिबर्टी है। दूसरा क्या है ना, डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल, यानी कि जितने सारी सोशियो इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटीज है उसको उस इनइक्वालिटीज को हम डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल में उसको एड्रेस करेंगे। राइट, जिनके पास है उनको जरूरत नहीं है, जिनके पास नहीं है उनको, उनके लिए पॉलिसीज ग्रेटेस्ट बेनिफिट्स ऑफ द लीस्ट एडवांटेज, जो लीस्ट एडवांटेज है उसको थोड़ा ज्यादा बेनिफिट्स मिलना चाहिए। ज्यादा मीन्स आवर intention is not to make the poor people rich. No, the intention is not to, to make the poor people not as poor. इसका मतलब जो गरीब है उसको थोड़ा ज्यादा मिलना चाहिए ताकि वो गरीबी से दूर हो जाए। The intention is not to make him धनी, rich. No. और तीसरा जो प्रिंसिपल, तीसरा तो नहीं, वो सेकेंड प्रिंसिपल में आता है, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ फेयर इक्वालिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी। फेयर इक्वालिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी, डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल, वो सोशियो इकोनॉमिक जो इनइक्वालिटी है उसको अरेंज करने के लिए ये दोनों चाहिए। तो पहला प्रिंसिपल है क्या है, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इक्वल लिबर्टी। दूसरा प्रिंसिपल क्या है, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इक्वालिटी। one is liberty principle, another is equality principle. Now in the equality principle you will find two principles, difference principle and principles of fair equality of opportunity, right? And difference principle क्या है ना, the greatest benefits to the least advantage section, वो आ जाएगा। differentiated right system, reservation, affirmative action, वो difference principle में आ जाएगा। अब principles of fair equality of opportunity क्या है ना, non discrimination. No one should be discriminated. Everyone, they have the right to compete for a position, for a office. No one should be discriminated. So this is based on positive discrimination, this is based on negative discrimination, non discrimination. Now both non discrimination and positive discrimination deals with the socio and economic inequalities of the society. Right. The first principle, principles of equal liberty, gives people a wide variety of rights and freedom, including right to speech, right to space, right to religion, right to assemble, and more generally, freedom to do as they please as long as they do not interfere with others' right. That means I have the right to swing my hand until and unless it touches your nose. And this right belongs to you, belongs to him, belongs to her, and belongs to all. The principles of fair equality of opportunity requires that citizens with similar skill, abilities, motivation should have equal access to educational, economic opportunity regardless of their family background, race, sex, religion, etc. For example, there is a post of assistant professorship, and for that you need to have a PhD degree. Now, PhD degree with all people, you know, having different, economic background, different family background, belonging to different race, different sex, different religion. Now, all are having this opportunity, fair equality of opportunity. This is principles of fair equality of opportunity. All are, I mean, have the right to contest for that one post of assistant professor. Now, a distinction can be made between the formal equality of opportunity and fair equality of opportunity. Formal equality of opportunity simply means non-discrimination. I said now, it is based on the principles of non-discrimination. That is, no unfair or unequal opportunity of one individual over the other. Equals or equals to be treated equally, unequals should be treated unequally. That is, formal equality of opportunity. But there is a fair equality of opportunity. But we can call it, substantive equality. Basically, formal equality of opportunity is characterized by, okay, I think further explanation on formal equality is there before we, go to the fair equality of opportunity, what I call equal protection of law, positive discrimination, or I also call, I said, substantive, equality. So let me explain the formal equality. Basically, formal equality of opportunity is characterized by equal access to educational employment opportunity, open and fair competition, applying the same standard to everyone in the assessment or selection process. Now, these, comes under, formal equality of opportunity. However, formal equality of opportunity alone does not necessarily ensure a fair outcome for everyone. For example, children of wealthy and well-connected parents often have an unfair advantage over the children from the poor families. Right? वो यह कहते हैं कि ये जो प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ नॉन डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है, इसमें सब कोई कंपटीशन में जाएंगे, वह कंपटीशन जाने के बाद दिखा जाएगा जो candidates they belong to the wealthy family, well connected parents, they have a better chance of getting that post in comparison to those family who are belonging to the poor families. Now, principles of non discrimination alone, it cannot establish a fair outcome. It cannot, establish a just society. For this reason, Rawls believed that formal equality of opportunity is not enough. He advocates fair equality of opportunity, which entails positive measures to remedy inequalities and to ensure that everyone who has the same, native talent and ambition can have the same prospect of success in competition. So fair equality of opportunity चाहिए. And fair equality of opportunity में क्या होता है ना, पॉजिटिव मेजर्स लिया जाता है. ये जो इनइक्वालिटीज है इंटरव्यू बोर्ड के अंदर, इनविजिबल इनइक्वालिटीज है, उस इनविजिबल इनइक्वालिटीज को डील करने के लिए, राइट, एंड सबको समान प्रकार, सबका जिनके पास टैलेंट सेम है, उस टैलेंट के हिसाब में सबको पोजीशन वो मिल जाए, इसीलिए कुछ पॉजिटिव मेजर्स लिया जाता है, इसीलिए रिजर्वेशन दिया जाता है. नाउ दिस रिजर्वेशन, दिस अफर्मेटिव एक्शन is actually part of the Rawlsian concept of what? The Rawlsian concept of fair equality of opportunity, formal equality of opportunity and fair equality of opportunity. So formal equality of opportunity is based on the principles of non-discrimination, and fair equality of opportunity is based on the principles of affirmative action. Right. The difference principle states that inequality cannot be justified unless it benefits the least advantaged member of the society. So difference principle का ये मानना है कि inequality होना चाहिए, मगर inequality must not give benefits to the already developed individual. Inequalities जब तक least advantaged member को advantaged are likely to include people born in relatively poor families. That is, this is important, students. That is, who are the least advantaged people? People born in relatively poor family, economic background, people with least natural talent, yani ki those who are not talented. And who are not talented, we have to decide. We cannot say that all higher caste people are talented or lower caste people are not talented. So talent, we generally, in India, we connect talent with the birth, we connect talent with the socioeconomic condition, we connect talent with the caste. But it's not always right. You have to discover a formula, how to know who are, or how to find least natural talented individual. Now they deserve the special treatment. And who are the least advantaged? Now people with worst lifetime luck, और जिनके पास लक नहीं है, वो है तीन प्रकार का लीस्ट एडवांटेज है। वो एक है रिलेटिव बिलोंगिंग टू द रिलेटिवली पुअर फैमिली, दूसरा है नेचुरल टैलेंट उनके पास कम हो, तीसरा है उनके पास लक, दे आर अनलकी पर्सन। सो अनलकी पर्सन, untalented person, and poor, economically poor person. Now these constitute the least advantaged members of the society. It implies that laws and policies have to be enforced to raise the position of the least advantaged in the society. जो least advantaged है उनका पोजीशन को थोड़ा बढ़ाना चाहिए और उसी हिसाब में लॉज और पॉलिसीज को आना चाहिए। Thus, in a just society, a fair amount of resources should be distributed to help the poorest member. जो तीन प्रकार का जो मैंने कहा लीस्ट एडवांटेज पीपल है इन द सोसाइटी, उनको फ्रूट्स ऑफ इनइक्वालिटी, फ्रूट्स ऑफ पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, फ्रूट्स ऑफ रिजर्वेशन मिलना चाहिए। Students, let me take 1 or 2 minutes break. It's a long you know uh, discussion, more than 2 hours. It will take more than 2 hours. And right now we are at the slide number 62, and we have to complete 94 slides. So let me take 3 minutes break, and then I'm coming back. Welcome back. Right. So we have dealt with many, contents of this PPT. Now let's come to the content, lexical priority. Now, according to Rawls, the first principles of justice, that is, principles of equal liberty, is lexically prior to the second principle. So the second principle is the equality principle. First principle is the liberty principle. So liberty principle must be prior to the equality principle. In that, for justice to be attained in the first principles of justice must be satisfied before the second principles can be satisfied. So what is important for John Rawls is the equal liberty principle. So you cannot compromise the liberty principle for the establishment of equality principle. Liberty principles is the first and second is the equality principle. Very clear. Now, Rawls explains that the lexical means a logical priority. Lexical priority means logical priority over the first principles of justice over the second principles implies that violation of the basic rights cannot be justified by arguing that such violation may produce economic and social advantage. This is important, John Rawls. He is saying that no doubt you give reservation to the others, but the reservation should not violate the basic rights of the individual, the non reserved category. Remember, reservation, affirmative action should not violate the basic rights of the unreserved category. Now I can understand that. Suppose there is one post, right? And if for getting or if we keep that one post as a reserve category, then the non-reserve category will not get any right to compete for that post. Suppose there is one post and generally that post is kept open. Right? It's not kept for reserve category, it is kept open so that it will not violate the rights of any individual, including the reserve category. It's open means anyone can compete to achieve that post, right? Right. So I think in this example, you can understand how basic right is important. How basic right is important, right? Uh, I mean, John Rawls is clearly saying that you cannot think of sacrificing the liberty of individual by you know by equalizing the society, right? You have a greater what I will say, you have a greater value, that is equalizing the society. Now, towards equalizing the society, if there is a situation where you are going against the basic rights of the individual, then we do not need that equalization of society. We need our basic rights must be protected. So basic rights is the first, and equality is the principles of equality is the second. Now, within the second principles, the fair equality of opportunity takes priority over difference principles. Right. Now, what is first? First, liberty principle is the first. Then what is second? Second is principles of non-discrimination. Then what is third? The principles of positive discrimination. Now, if you remember the second principle, equality principle, then you will find in equality principle there are two principles. Principles of, I'm sorry, fair equality of opportunity. Fair equality of opportunity uh, to be takes priority over the difference principle. Now you have to go to that slide to understand it. Let me, okay, what is the slide number here? Line number is 64. Let me write it so that I'll come to that. So first is the liberty, principle. Second is the equality principle, and in the equality principle, you will find two principles. principles of non-discrimination and principles of positive discrimination. Let me go to that slide so that you can understand it. Here, here, this is the equality principle. You can see, students, here it is the equality principle, and these are the two principles: difference principle and principles of fair equality of opportunity. Now, which comes first? So, first is the liberty principle. लेक्सिकल प्रायोरिटी में कौन फास्ट आता है? लिबर्टी प्रिंसिपल फास्ट आता है. सेकंड क्या आता है? सेकंड आता है, आई थिंक, द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ फेयर इक्वालिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी. थर्ड में आता है डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल. डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल में क्या होता है ना, पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन होता है, इसमें नॉन डिस्क्रिमिनेशन होता है. अब अभी स्लाइड को चलेंगे. सो पहला क्या है? लिबर्टी प्रिंसिपल. दूसरा क्या है ना? प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ फेयर इक्वालिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी. ये दूसरा है. तीसरा क्या है? तीसरा है डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल और प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. ये तीसरा है. अभी हम 64 में जाएंगे. You can see. So within the second principle, equality principle, the fair equality of opportunity based on non-discrimination, 2B में उधर था, takes priority over the difference principle. So पहले आएगा liberty principle, दूसरे में आएगा fair equality of opportunity principle, third में आएगा difference principle. To sum up, the maximum equal basic liberties and fair equality of opportunity must be secured before implementing the policies to raise the living standards of the poor. So रिजर्वेशन से पहले ये दो महत्वपूर्ण चीज है. एक है basic liberties of all individuals are satisfied and a fair equality of opportunities has been given to all. Then you think about reservation. That's why I gave that example. एक पोस्ट है, एक पोस्ट में हम रिजर्व कैटेगरी में डाल देंगे तो फिर हम डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल को रेस्पेक्ट दे दिए, मगर उससे पहले हमको लिबर्टीज को रेस्पेक्ट देना पड़ेगा, हमको इक्वालिटी ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज को रेस्पेक्ट देना पड़ेगा. इसीलिए बोट दैट वन पोस्ट belongs to the open category. Now once it is in open category, then the basic liberties of all individual, all competitors, all candidates, it gets satisfied, and the equality of opportunity is also given. If there is one post, that one post must be in the open category. That one post should not be or should not belong to the reserve category. This is a very good example actually. Now, what this means for Rawls is that once we have reached a certain level of well-being, consideration of liberty should have absolute priority over the matters of well-being. I'm repeating, what this means for Rawls is that once we have reached a certain level of well-being, consideration of liberty should have absolute priority over the matters of economic well-being. Thus, according to this view, we cannot sacrifice liberty for the sake of anything else. So, Rawls is a liberal thinker. So, at any moment, Rawls cannot unhold the hand of liberty. Right? Rawls has to. Rawls liberty को नहीं छोड़ सकते हैं. वो कहते हैं since liberty is the first priority, liberty of the individual cannot be sacrificed. Liberty of the individual. Liberty cannot be sacrificed, or the value of liberty should not be sacrificed for the value of equality. But yes, the value of liberty can be sacrificed for the value of liberty. That is his position. Now, Rawlsian contractors would initially agree to equal division of all primary goods. If you remember the initial position. However, if an inequality benefits everyone compared to equality, it is rational to permit. Now Rawls is saying that the non-discrimination may establish an unequal society, and in order to deal with the unequal society, a further inequality is necessary in the form of positive discrimination. Discrimination is what is positive discrimination? Positive discrimination is against a discrimination that is caused by the socio-economic reality of our society, and the intention of positive discrimination is to establish non-discrimination, is to establish a no, I mean a society where you will not find any discrimination. Positive discrimination is against the societal indiscrimination. The intention of positive discrimination is to create a healthy society. Now, if an inequality, I mean, positive discrimination is a kind of inequality, but the intention of that inequality is to establish a just society. So, equality may produce a unjust society. Inequality, in the sense of positive discrimination, can establish a just society. Then John Rawls is saying that it is rational to permit it. They would accept the inequalities that benefits everyone compared to equal division. इनइक्वालिटी जो सोसाइटी प्रस्तुत करेगा तो फिर इनइक्वालिटी becomes the part of justice. In other words, rational, self-centered Rawlsian contractor in the original position will prefer inequality to equality. उनको पता है कि what is the significance of inequality. Right. A intentional inequality is required in order to deal the unfair inequality. Intentional inequality is required in order to deal with unfair inequality in the society. So, the rational and self-centered, self-interested Rawlsian contractor in their original position, they understand the significance of inequality and equality. And if only if inequality is more advantageous to them or him or her, then inequality, I'm repeating, if and only if inequality is more advantageous to him or her, then equality, I'm sorry, I'm not getting it. I'm rereading it. Please bear with me. If and only if inequality is more advantageous to him or her, then inequality in terms of enjoyment of the primary goods. Right. Okay, let me understand the way I want to understand it. इसका मतलब ओरिजिनल पोजीशन में जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हैं, Rawlsian contractor, they understand the significance of inequality, they understand the limitation of equality, right? And they accept that if the inequality is advantageous to them, then it is better to be guided by the inequality, that is difference principle. Right. Now, Rawls himself is aware that a system aimed at strict equality in income and wealth might do away with incentives of market economy and would in all probability result in an extremely low level of wealth for all. मान लो कि पूरा इक्वालिटी हम इक्वल शेयर ऑफ एवरीवन माने वर्क अकॉर्डिंग टू द what ability and take according to the need, राइट. मान लो कि उसी सिस्टम में हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करेंगे तो फिर नेशनल वेल्थ कम हो जाएगा. जो ज्यादा काम करता है उसको ज्यादा मिलना चाहिए, नहीं तो फिर वो ज्यादा काम नहीं करेगा. एंड इफ you know produce a system based on street equality, then that system will produce low level of wealth. Rawls assumes that if people with scarce marketable skill or talents are paid incentives, they would choose more productive job and work harder, so produce more. Then they might for average pay. Then they, okay, I'm repeating, Rawls assume that if people with scarce marketable skills or talents are paid incentives, they would choose more productive job and work harder, and so produce more. Then they might for average pay. If I'm working hard, I must get better incentives. If I'll get better incentives, I will produce more. मान लो if I'll get only a average payment, should I produce more? Should I work hard? No, I will not. So Rawls understand this point very well. Now, it is easy to see why, according to the difference principles, a doctor should be allowed to get higher income than the ordinary office worker. Why a doctor should be paid the higher income? Why a professor should be paid the higher income than a peon? Now, if this is not the case, then no one will take time and effort to study medicine. Health care will be in short supply. Everyone in society will be worse off as a result. डॉक्टर को ज्यादा, प्रोफेसर को ज्यादा पेमेंट नहीं मिलेगा तो कोई प्रोफेसर बनने के लिए परिश्रम नहीं करेगा, डॉक्टर बनने के लिए परिश्रम नहीं करेगा। तो सोसाइटी में क्या होगा? एक डॉक्टर लेस, प्रोफेसर लेस, इंजीनियर लेस, सिविल सर्वेंट लेस, सबको ही समान मिलता है। इफ वट एवर आई एम गेटिंग, इफ एज ए ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन यू आर गेटिंग दिस एंड देन व्हाई शुड आई डू मच मोर लेबर? तो ये सोसाइटी को एक बहुत ही worst condition को बोले जाएगा, right? And that's why the liberty principle, why liberty principle is fast for John Rawls. Now, the inequality between the doctor's salary and a clerk is only acceptable if this is the only way to encourage the training of a sufficient number of doctors, preventing an unacceptable decline in the availability of the medical care would therefore advantage to everyone, which would therefore be advantage to everyone. हम डॉक्टर को ज्यादा सैलरी देते हैं, क्लर्क को फ्यूज कम सैलरी देते हैं, इसलिए कि सब कोई डॉक्टर बने। जब सब कोई डॉक्टर बने, फिर डॉक्टर के साथ जो मेडिकल केयर का अवेलेबिलिटी भी आता है, और जब मेडिकल केयर का अवेलेबिलिटी आता है तभी एडवांटेज सबको मिलता है। Now, Rawls does not think that every person should have the same level of material goods and service. शुरुआत में कहा ना कि there is a just inequality, there is a unjust inequality. Rawls is not against the just inequality. He is against the unjust inequality. So Rawls does not think that every person should have the same level of material good and service. नहीं, सबके पास समान नहीं होना चाहिए। सबका समान हो जाएगा तो फिर काम नहीं करेगा। यूनिवर्सिटी में सबको ही वाइस चांसलर बन जाएंगे तो यूनिवर्सिटी काम नहीं करेगा। डिवीजन ऑफ लेबर होना चाहिए, स्पान ऑफ कंट्रोल होना चाहिए, हायरार्की होना चाहिए। Now, difference principle allows inequality to exist so long as it has the effect that least advantaged in the society are materially better off than they would under the street equality. डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल में ये क्या कहते हैं कि जो लीस्ट एडवांटेज है, ठीक है, जो लीस्ट एडवांटेज, मान लो कि ये डॉक्टर ज्यादा सैलरी उसको मिलता है, एक क्लर्क को कम सैलरी मिलता है, क्या वो इनइक्वालिटी है? रॉल्स नहीं मानेंगे, वो इनइक्वालिटी नहीं है, बिकॉज फेयर अपॉर्चुनिटी वाज गिवन टू द क्लर्क टू बिकम द डॉक्टर, बट ए पर्सन बिकम्स द डॉक्टर, ए पर्सन बिकम्स द फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल लेक्सिकल प्रायोरिटी में क्या है? लिबर्टी, लिबर्टी प्रिंसिपल, उसके बाद प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ नॉन डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, उसके बाद प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, थर्ड में प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन आता है। तो इसीलिए उसको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिला, उसको राइट भी मिला कॉन्टेस्ट करने के लिए और डॉक्टर बनने के लिए, ठीक है। बट ये कहते हैं कि आप ये देख लीजिए, मैंने कहा था ना शुरुआत में कि एक जो जस्ट सोसाइटी है उसमें 3 प्रिंसिपल होना चाहिए, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ व्हाट, डेजर्ट, प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नीड, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इक्वालिटी। Now, principles of desert means doctor, and why doctor should get the higher pay, deserve the higher pay, he gets the higher pay. Then right, that is principles of non-discrimination, I mean equal opportunity given to all person to become the doctor. The clerk becomes a clerk because he could not become the doctor. Right. फिर उसके बाद आ जाता है नीड, नीड यानी कि इस प्रोसेस में कोई लोग बहुत ही बुरी तरीके से फंस जाता है, तब उसको मटेरियल बेनिफिट्स उसको मिलना चाहिए डिफरेंट प्रिंसिपल्स के आधार पर। So the difference principles allows inequality to exist so long as it has the effect that least advantage in the society are materially better off than they would be under street equality. Street equality में जो छूट जाते हैं उसको थोड़ा बेटर ऑफ कंडीशन को लाने के लिए ये डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल रॉल्स आर्ग्यू करते हैं। Now, Rawls suggests that every rational person should agree with the maximum, maximin rule. Right? What is this maximin rule? So Rawls suggests that every rational person should agree with the maximin rule, that is, the idea that a fair system of distribution must maximize the primary goods enjoyed by least favored class. I'm repeating, the idea that a fair system of distribution must maximize the primary goods enjoyed by the least favored class. So least favored class इक्वालिटी एनवायरमेंट में जितने सारी प्राइमरी गुड्स को एंजॉय करते हैं, उस एंजॉयमेंट को मैक्सिमाइज करता है, राइट? उसको हम मैक्सिमिन रूल कहते हैं। उसको मैक्सिमाइज करता है, कौन करता है? डिफरेंस प्रिंसिपल करता है। So difference principle is guided by the Maximin rule. And what is the Maximin rule? Maximin rule is a rule that maximizes the primary goods enjoyed by the least favored class in a system based on equality. Now, as a rational contractor in the original position should consider the possibility he or she might be in the minimal position, and so he or she should ensure the maximum benefit for it. जो ओरिजिनल पोजीशन में जो लोग हैं, उनको ये लगता है कि हम भी वही लीस्ट एडवांटेज सेक्शन को बिलोंग कर सकते हैं, इसीलिए हमको एक ऐसा प्रिंसिपल, ऐसा पॉलिसी बनाना चाहिए कि ये जो लीस्ट एडवांटेज सेक्शन है उसको थोड़ा ज्यादा कुछ बेनिफिट मिलेगा, कि बाद में हमको पता चलेगा कि हम वही लीस्ट एडवांटेज ग्रुप को बिलोंग करते हैं, हमारा अभी का डिसीजन उस समय हमको थोड़ा हेल्प करेगा। ठीक है, जब हमको ये हेल्प करता है तभी, मान लो कि हम रीच हो, मतलब एक कॉन्शियसनेस, ये जो भेल इग्नोरेंस कॉन्शियसनेस है, उस कॉन्शियसनेस से हम जब दूर हो जाएंगे, हमको मालूम पड़ेगा कि हम रिच हैं। हम रिच हैं तो हमको कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। मान लो कि हम पुअर हैं, तभी क्या होगा ना, इसीलिए पुअर सेक्शन को एडवांटेज मिलना चाहिए, मैक्सिमम एडवांटेज मिलना चाहिए। इसीलिए जो रेशनल कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हैं, वो दे आर थिंकिंग जस्टिस फ्रॉम द पुअर एडवांटेज पॉइंट। Now, Rawls' general conception of justice, primary goods are to be distributed equally unless unequal distribution of any or all these goods is to everyone advantage. I'm repeating. Let me take 1 minute break to understand this point. Okay, I got it. So Rawls' general conception of justice वो क्या है ना, प्राइमरी गुड्स आर टू बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड इक्वली। वो इक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ प्राइमरी गुड वो होने के लिए, unless an unequal distribution of any or all these goods are to everyone advantage, वो इक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ प्राइमरी गुड होने के लिए एक अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भी होना चाहिए। But this unequal distribution must justify that it is advantageous to everyone. In other words, inequality in distribution is just if and only if it benefits everyone, especially the least advantaged. So reservation का benefits नॉन रिजर्व कैटेगरी को भी मिलना चाहिए। कैसे मिलेगा ना, थ्रू रिकॉग्निशन। एंड रिजर्वेशन का जो मटेरियल बेनिफिट्स है वो लीस्ट एडवांटेज को मिलना चाहिए। सो यू आर गेटिंग रिजर्वेशन बिकॉज आई एम नॉट गेटिंग। ये प्रकार का जो रिकॉग्निशन है वो नॉन रिजर्व कैटेगरी को मिलना चाहिए। Rawls' Maximin rules depends on the assumption that it is rational and prudent to prepare for the worst. So justice means thinking from the worst standpoint and preparing for the worst. But why is it necessarily rational to play safe rather than gamble in a little, given the good chance that one may not among the least fortunate? It seems that people generally agree with Rawls' first principles of justice, the principles of equal liberty. However, second principle, the difference principle in particular, the controversial, it is controversial because it entails redistribution of income, resources, and opportunity. Right. So, critique they they have no problem with the first principle. Yes, principle में problem नहीं है. मगर critic they have problem with this second principles of John Rawls. Right. The market does not itself satisfy Rawls principles of justice. So the logic which guides the market, I mean it. I mean uh, it is not happy with the Rawls principles of justice. The distribution of wealth in a free market economy has no connection with the social justice. So to provide for everyone's basic needs and to satisfy the difference principle, government intervention and redistribution of wealth are required. So John Rawls knew that market will not, or market cannot be guided by my principles of justice. So it is the government which can apply my principles of justice in order to create a just society. So market always thinks about production profit, but government thinks about the creation of just society. This is the difference between the market and the government. So government is thinking about just society, market is thinking about production, market is thinking about the profit. So the space of social justice cannot be there in the market because social justice demands different value, market is guided by the different value. For Rawls, a fair and just society is one in which poor can share the fruits of prosperity. He proposes that wealth and resources be redistributed more evenly through progressive taxation. So स्टेट का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है सोशल जस्टिस को मेंटेन करने में, एक जो सोसाइटी को क्रिएट करने में, वो मार्केट का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है. इसीलिए इसीलिए स्टेट को क्या करना चाहिए ना, स्टेट को प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेशन करना चाहिए, स्टेट को सोशल वेलफेयर करना चाहिए, स्टेट को ए लीगल मिनिमम वेज प्रस्तुत करना चाहिए कि इस जो वेज है इससे कम किसी को देना नहीं चाहिए, इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी पॉलिसी करना चाहिए, पब्लिक प्रोविजन ऑफ एजुकेशन हेल्थ केयर वो भी करना चाहिए. सो दीज आर द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द स्टेट. एज एन egalitarian, Rawls believes that a government that allows substantial difference in wealth is unjust and immoral. So Rawls is a libertarian. Rawls is a liberal, not libertarian. So he is a egalitarian and he is a liberal. As a liberal, he prioritizes principles of liberty. But as an egalitarian, he wants a just society. He can never allow the substantial difference in wealth among the people, because the substantial difference in wealth among people will create an unjust society which is immoral. The existing wealth gap in his view can be closed through taxation. The money collected by taxation can be used to benefit those who have less. Imagine you are the owner of a business. The government has the right to tax away all of your profits unless you reinvest those profits to create jobs for working class. If you keep the money in your bank account without making any new investment, the government will tax away that sum of money. Do you think this is fair? And this question is asked to John Rawls. I think you need to re-understand this question. Imagine you are the owner of a business. The government has the right to tax away all of your profits unless you reinvest those profit to create jobs for the working class. If you keep the money in your bank account without making any new investment, the government will take away that sum of money. Do you think this is fair? This is a question. It is to all of us. We need to think and rethink this question in the light of Rawls and justice. Now, the basic assumption of Rawls' theory of justice is that government has the right to reallocate, income, resources, opportunities. It implies that some government bureaucrats will be able to take possession of private wealth and resources and redistribute them among all members of the society. Redistribution. And who will do the redistribution? Now, it is the government bureaucrats. Through them, policies of social justice gets executed. The fundamental objection to this is that this egalitarian policy of redistribution ignores the crucial question of how people have come to differ in wealth. If people earn their money by legitimate means, working hard, taking risk, etc., then they deserve what they have. This is the libertarian critique. What is wrong if the distribution is based on the principles of desert? Right? To take people's money from them in order to benefit those who have made wrong choices. I mean, if I am poor because there is a very nice sentence. Now, if I am born poor, then I am not responsible. But if I die as a poor, then I am responsible. If I live like a poor, then I am responsible. Right? Now, if people are poor because of their wrong choice, people are afraid of taking risk, or people they have lost in a fair competition, and why these people will get the benefits of reservation, of affirmative action, of protective discrimination? Why through taxation the resources from a deserved person will be taken in order to distribute among them what they deserve and uses it to the benefits? I'm repeating, to take the people's money from them in order to benefit those who have made wrong choices, who are afraid of taking risks, or lost in fair competition is unjust because it takes from the people what they deserve and uses it to the benefits of those who don't deserve. I mean, if you are taking money from a deserved person and distributing that money among the undeserved person, then that is unjust. This is the libertarian criticism of John Rawls' theory of justice. Now, advocates of desert-based, principles of justice may argue that some people deserve a higher level of material good because of their hard work and contribution, even if their unequal rewards don't help to improve the position of least advantaged. Right. So, desert-based advocate or desert-based principles advocate or principles of justice advocate, what they argue, now some people deserve higher level of material good because of their hard work, even and contribution, even if their unequal rewards don't help to improve the position of least advantage. Right. So even if a deserved person is not contributing to the to improve the position of least advantage, still then it is his hard earned money. It is his hard earned money, and he has the right over that hard earned money. The difference principle does not ask why someone is badly off. Perhaps it is his own fault. Right? So if I'm a poor because of my own fault, for example, someone who smokes 5 packets of cigarette a day gets lung cancer at the age of 35 and loses his ability to work as a result. How can it be a requirement of justice to tax others to help him? So if I'm taking, cigarette at the age of 35, I'm, you know, losing the ability to work. Then should state tax you in order to help me? Very good. Very good criticism. The purpose of redistribution is to make up for bad luck. The purpose of redistribution is to make up for bad luck. It requires that the more fortunate, that is, more talented, more wealthy, etc. members of society be taxed in a manner that maximally benefits the less fortunate. Will distribution discourage people from working hard because their productive labor is not adequately rewarded? Right? Distribution क्या करता है ना, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कहता है by luck you are rich by luck, hence you should be uh, uh, you know uh, this whole distributive justice of John Rawls is based on an assumption that individuals are not responsible for their poverty. But interestingly, it assumes that the rich is richer because of his luck. The rich is richer because of his luck. But the poor is poorer because of his work. This is something where it is deeply problematic. Students, you think about this this uh, position. John Rawls is giving importance to the luck, not about the deeds. The rich is richer because of luck, according to John Rawls. But the rich is richer because of his deeds. John Rawls is not accepting. The poor is poorer because of the luck. John Rawls is accepting it. The poor is poorer because of his deeds. John Rawls is not accepting it. But then we can say that John Rawls is partially right, partially wrong. So will distribution discourage? If you distribute on the basis of your partial judgment, then this redistribution actually discourage people. Those who are working hard, they will be discouraged by your redistribution or redistributive system. Now, redistribution policy may not be fair to some members of the society. A single mother who manages to improve her lot through hard work and discipline may find her somewhat greater resources subject to redistribution to another single mother who is addicted to drugs and refuses to work. There are two women or two mothers. One mother is taking drugs, refuse to work. Another mother is doing hard labor. And if you take the benefits of that hard worker mother and distribute that benefits to that addicted mother, is it fair? Is it fair? This is the question again. This is a serious libertarian critique to the John Rawls' conception of justice. Do you think that people who choose to work harder to earn higher income should be required to subsidize those who choose to have more leisure? कोई काम करेगा, कोई सोएगा. जो काम करेगा उसका इनकम हम लेके जो सोएगा, सोता है जब, उसको हम दें. क्या वो सही है? What role is there for individuals' responsibility in an account of justice? जो सोता है, अच्छा, जो हार्ड अर्न करता है उसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टुवर्ड्स जस्टिस, बट जो सोता है उसका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या है? He will only receive, he will not give. Now, if the government takes money from the rich and gives it to the poor, it may have achieved greater equality, but not greater justice. So, greater equality and greater justice, according to libertarian, are two separate things. If government takes money from the rich and gives it to the poor, then the government is working towards greater equality, but it is not greater justice. It is injustice to rich, and it is also injustice to poor, because poor is getting what he does not deserve. Now, people who disagree with Rawls may argue that redistribution entails violation of the freedom and property right. It may also cause inefficiency, diminish incentives to work and save. Why should we entrust government officials with the power to redistribute wealth? Why government official will redistribute? Because this will ultimate, if the social justice policies will be implemented by the bureaucrats, then the entire system will be bureaucratized. And if 50 rupees coming from the government, only 50 paisa, 50 paisa is reaching to the poor person. But what about 49.50 rupees? And that is taken by the bureaucracy. So bureaucrats are becoming richer. So if someone steals money from the rich and gives it to his poor neighbors, he will be arrested and punished. Why should we allow the government to rob the better to pay the poor? Now, if someone is stealing my money, then someone is punished. But when these bureaucrats are doing corruption, that is also stealing. Why they are not punished? Rawls seems to think that there is no necessary connection between how goods are produced and how they are distributed. So perhaps Rawls think that there is no necessary connection between how goods are produced and how they are distributed. Rawls has thought about only, or Rawls has taken seriously how resources are distributed, but how resources are produced, goods are produced, perhaps Rawls has not thought about it. Is there any relationship between how wealth is created and how it should be distributed? Should distribution based on wealth distribution based on wealth creation, or wealth distribution will be separated, a separate concept? It has no connection with the wealth creation. This is the question throwing at John Rawls. What role should the government play in the redistribution of income and resources? गवर्नमेंट का रोल कैसा होना चाहिए? Do you think a just society can be established through redistribution of income and resources? Why and how? Why not? Now these are the questions you need to think through while you know understanding John Rawls' concept justice as fairness. Do you think a just society can be established through redistribution of income and resources? Why and why not? So thank you, students. It is a long hour. It is a long hour, lecture, and it has taken near about half, 2.5 an hour. ये 2.5 घंटा का ये लेक्चर है. I hope that this lecture is this lecture will be helpful for you to understand this concept justice as fairness. We have discussed many things practically. I think you will get a better understanding of John Rawls' concept of justice in comparison to the previous lecture. So previous lecture was much more theoretical explanation, and in today's lecture you will find a practical expression of John Rawls' theory of justice, or his concept of justice as fairness. So thank you, students. Thank you so much. Students, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you so much. I
Thank you,
mean,
sir.
you are still with this lecture. मैंने सुबह में जब दिया था ये लेक्चर, I felt uh, I felt tired actually at the end of this talk. 2.5 घंटा का talk, I felt tired. Talking about theory, philosophy, more than 2 hours, it's actually difficult. I think in this lecture I have said many things, right? And I have also said the strength of Rawls, theory of justice, right? And I have also exposed the weakness of Rawls' theory of justice. And I have said the libertarian critique of Rawlsian justice. I think it depends on the situation, right? There are different situations, and in different situation, uh, the conception of justice must differ, right? For example, John Rawls is saying that uh, a rich is a rich is because of his luck. A poor is because of his luck. Right? Luck means a rich is born in a particular family, right? But a poor person is born in a poor family. So that's why, since he was born in a poor family, he is poor, right? So he needs some kind of affirmative action. Different principle must be applied to that person. But look at the libertarian logic. He is saying that the rich is because of his own deeds, on works, hard work, and the poor person is because of his own deeds, right? In such a situation, should the rich be taxed, and should the taxed money be used uh, for that poor person? If that poor person, I mean, if I am poor because of my own deeds, should I get the facility of should I get the benefits of affirmative action? Very good argument actually. So why I am poor? I am poor. What are the reasons of my poverty? I think we need to think about it. And then only we can fix that what kind of justice is applied in that case. In that case, for example, criminal, right? You belong to a particular, category. You belong to a particular category, and but you are not broken individual, but you are getting the benefits of the positive discrimination. You are getting the benefits of the reservation. Now, is it just? Is it just? We need to ask this question. So there are major, there are many, weaknesses of Rawls' theory of justice. It's not that Rawls says, you know, said, or Rawls has given us a fair theory of justice. Right? He has tried. He has tried to give us a fair theory of justice. But human life, human situation is very much complex. In all situation of human life, uh, Rawlsian justice is not fit. Rawlsian justice is fit with a specific situation of human life. But human life, the complexity of human life uh, is such that one theory cannot be applied. So we need the existence of multiple theories of justice, and according to the situation, according to the nature of the situation, we should apply you know these many theories. I mean, this particular theory is suit in that particular context. That particular theory of justice is suited in that particular context. Likewise, I think we need to apply theory of justice. So one theory of justice cannot resolve the complex situation of human life. So thank you, students. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Let me give that opportunity to all of you. You have any questions with you?
Envious means kind of
Yes. Are you asking anything, Lucy?
the word envious means
You see the dictionary, right? You can find the word envious.
okay, sir.
Okay. Any question on the on concept? Don't ask me what is the meaning of that word. On the concept, on the theory, you have any question, or if you have any criticism on the Rawlsian theory of justice, or if you have criticism on libertarian critique over the Rawlsian theory of justice, you have any questions regarding that?
No, sir.
Okay. So thank you, students. Thank you so much. Let me stop the recording.